This is a video just with some general guidance in relation to the AO2 element of the Unit 4 essays, whether it be Westphal, Ayer or Donovan. I will do specific videos regarding the individual thinkers relating to those, but here's just some general guidance. First thing to say, and it's quite important to think about sort of the length or the timing that you want to spend on this. 40% of the marks are devoted to the AO2 element of the Unit 4 exam, but I would actually say that you probably want to spend about 45% of your time doing it. It's relatively easier to get marks in the AO1 than it is in the AO2, certainly to get towards the top of it. So you want to spend slightly longer proportionally on AO2 than you do on AO1, I would recommend. Essentially, the AO2 is split into two components. There's the implications element of it and the do you agree element of it, and I would do it in that order, even though the question operates in the opposite order. It says do you agree, what are the implications. The reasons why I would put the implications first is because you can then incorporate any kind of comments that you make in that section into the do you agree and into your conclusion. Just makes sense that way. The first thing that you need to do, and this needs to happen way before you actually start writing in the exam or even in preparation for the exam, to be honest it's pretty elementary anyway, is to identify what the key thesis or the key idea of the author is. So, in each case, Ayer, Westphal, Donovan is making a kind of key point, and you need to kind of have that very squarely in mind when you're writing the AO2. So, thinking about the implications element, if you identify the key idea, so take Ayer as example, his key idea is to say that religious language is meaningless. Well, what are the implications if that's true? If that's true, then what sort of things may follow? For example, one thing that may follow is that scripture is disregarded. Well, is that good? Is that bad? What sort of arguments might be made for those two cases? Are there any scholars, are there any thinkers that might support those propositions? Have a bit of a discussion, kick it around. There might be one or two other points you might want to make as well. It's certainly not necessarily the most important one. In terms of the do you agree, well, similarly, do you agree that religious language is meaningless? Draft in as many arguments as you can to kind of support either view. I would recommend having, referring to scholars wherever is possible to support and substantiate your arguments. I would actually say, you want relatively fewer, actually, but gone into some detail rather than every single scholar that you can think of and mention. Finally, the last thing that you absolutely need is a conclusion. There's got to be a conclusion. It's a key part of the mark scheme, and I would also encourage you to use the personal pronoun as it's part of the question. So to say I agree, I disagree, and so on. So I will do videos on Westphal, Ayer and Donovan specifically, but some general advice.